Moon in the third house, the language of emotional truth. Welcome to Moon in the third house in synastry. Here, one person's moon falls into another person's third house, the house of communication, daily exchanges, the immediate environment, and the vast landscape of how we express ourselves in ordinary language and interaction. The third house is sometimes dismissed as the house of small talk and logistics, but this misses something essential. It governs not merely what we communicate, but how, the texture of our mental and verbal life, the quality of our daily rhythm. And crucially, it governs the relationship between inner experience and outer expression. How freely we are able to say what we actually mean. When someone's moon falls here, they bring emotional warmth and intuitive intelligence to the house person's communicative life. The moon person has a remarkable sensitivity to how the house person thinks, speaks, and processes experience. They pick up on nuance, on what is being said between the lines, on the feeling behind the words. This sensitivity is not analytical, it is instinctive. They feel their way into the house person's communication style, and as a result, they often understand the house person with unusual speed and accuracy. For the house person, this can be quietly extraordinary. Many people move through daily life feeling only partially understood, saying things and sensing that the full weight of what they mean has not quite landed. The moon person in the third house breaks through that. The house person often feels they do not need to over-explain, that the emotional truth behind their words is received as well as the words themselves. This creates a conversational ease that is genuinely rare. The house person tends to open up more than usual, not because the moon person asks probing questions, but because their emotional presence makes it feel safe to say more. Conversations flow, silences are comfortable. There is a natural rhythm that does not feel forced. The moon person, for their part, is genuinely curious about the house person's thoughts, opinions, and daily inner commentary on the world. They want to hear what the house person is thinking. Not just the important things, but the ordinary things too. They can sit with the house person discussing nothing in particular and feel genuinely nourished by the exchange. This matters enormously in long-term relationships, where the quality of daily conversation becomes one of the primary determinants of how good the relationship actually feels to live inside. Grand gestures have a short half-life. The willingness to really talk and actually listen is what sustains connection over years. There is also a quality around emotional articulation that this overlay tends to produce. The moon person may help the house person find language for feelings not yet put into words. The house person may help the moon person order and express their emotional landscape with greater clarity. Each person, through the other, becomes slightly more able to say what they mean. To the challenges, the moon is an emotional planet. The third house is at root, a mental one. The house person's instinct when something difficult arises may be to discuss, analyze, and move it into narrative, when what the moon person most needs in that moment is simply to feel held. This gap between processing verbally and processing emotionally can be a recurring point of misunderstanding if not named and worked with. The moon person, conversely, may sometimes bring an emotional weight to everyday exchange that the house person finds draining. The third house thrives on lightness, variety, and curiosity. If every conversation carries emotional gravity, the natural ease of this overlay can begin to feel effortful. Balance is the invitation. To honor both registers, allowing emotional truth its full place in conversation, while also allowing conversation the freedom to simply be conversation. Light, curious, alive. Moon in the third house synastry is ultimately the overlay of emotional conversation, of two people who can speak their inner lives to each other with unusual freedom and trust. Words, when they carry feeling, are never small. And in this placement, they rarely do anything else.
Thank you for listening. Next, we explore Moon in the fourth house.